guys, good morning or good afternoon or whenever it is you're watching this video. Alright, so I'm still having issues with videos and cameras and all that stuff. So we're going to continue this way until I can't anymore. Live stream is still having snippety issues with me. So with that said, we're going to talk about your coming assignment. So the vocab you guys should be having more or less done at this point. I mean, it wasn't that difficult. It was just copying and pasting the vocab. The next assignment that we're going to be doing is called the visual principles and elements identification. You do have a bell ringer, so make sure that you guys are paying attention for that. The bell ringer is pretty simple. It's just simply telling me if you are connecting to YouTube or not. But as we're going here, we'll get started. And we're going to first start with this PowerPoint. So I do have a PowerPoint in here for you guys. It's called Elements and Principles of Design. And it goes through the 8 different components of elements. And it talks about each one of these. Now, I'm not going to go through this entire thing. This is completely yours to do on your own now. Honestly, a lot of these things you should have already talked about in a art class or another type of class. And these are all really important when it comes to design and how we do design. Okay, now, and that's what we're going to focus a lot on with this current coming project. So I do have the printout for this project here. Again, if you want a physical packet, okay, I'm going to be posting as much as I can. However, I will suggest that you get a physical packet. The school is allowing you guys to come and get it. The other thing is that if you are, for some reason, can't go to the school, please email me, all right, and I will make sure that you somehow, some way get a packet. I'm going to post as much as I can on here, but some of the stuff you're really going to need that physical packet to use, or a printer. If you have a printer at home, you're golden. But you're really going to want to do some stuff physical-wise. So with that said, we're going to get into this visual principles here, but I'm actually going to pop over here to the classwork, and I have it underneath alternative assignments. Okay, so under here on alternative assignments, we're first going to do the matrix. Okay. There is 2 components to this assignment. One is a matrix and one is a poster. I'm going to talk with you guys first about the matrix. So right here, we have the visual design elements identification. There's an introductory. I'm only going to read a little bit of that intro. Following the steps in the design process and applying visual design principles and elements are key ingredients leading to the overall effectiveness and tastefulness, I can talk today, of a design. So what they're basically saying is that you can't just have function alone. Some people are okay with just having an object that is functional. However, some people want to look at an object that's not only functional, but beautiful. Think of your phones, okay? You guys have phones. They are functional. You can do so much on them. You might be even using your phone right now to listen to this YouTube video. It's extremely functional. However, what kind of case do you have on it? What does the case look like? All right. What elements, if you've already looked at that PowerPoint presentation, what elements are present in your case design? What makes you like the case? What is there a tastefulness to the design? Does it have, is it the color that you like? Is it maybe the way it feels in your hand, okay, the shape of it, the texture, so on and so forth. All right, so a lot goes into designing an object that you kind of take for granted every day. All right, and why is it that you bought it and different things of that nature? All right, and that kind of goes down to the rest of what it talks about here. So again, read the introduction yourself, but more or less this is what we're talking about. So the procedure, the purpose of this activity is to identify the visual design elements that appear in your environment, and then identify the visual design principles by which they were arranged. So the first thing I want you to do is go around your house and locate 5 man-made items at home, in this case at home, because you can't do it at school. And you can do a couple different things. You can take a photograph of each item, or you can sketch it out. Completely up to you. But ultimately, you have to have a visual representation of some manner. So let's say you can't necessarily take a photo of it. You don't want to sketch it out. All right. I'm going to, you know what? I have this really pretty mug that I'm using right now. And it's from David's Tea Mugs. Okay. So I have this really pretty mug. And you can totally look it up. I don't care. I'm not seeing it on here. I mean, they have some cool ones on here. I'm not seeing the one that I necessarily have on here, or at least not right off the bat, which kind of stinks, but whatever. So I'm just going to pick this one. Okay. So if you can't, for any reason, you can't take a picture of it, find the image on Google or wherever you're finding it and kind of use it. So I'm going to use that as my image for right now. Document your visual analysis of your 5 products on the Visual Design Principles and Elements Matrix chart and on an index card. Attach your image to the card and include your name, the name of the product, and identify the visual design principles and elements that are evident in that product. So, as a side note here, so we have the index card version here, okay? What we're going to do for the index card part of this is that I simply want you guys to take pictures of that, okay? So let's say you don't have index cards. That's fine. Use a Google slide and do the same thing. We are going to have that as a due date here shortly, but what I really want to talk about is this design matrix, okay? So the design matrix, I actually gave it to you. All right, so we're going to go back here for a second. Go on here. So the Visual Design Principles and Elements Matrix. So right here, we have that. Now, each one of you should have your own version of this. All right, so I'm going to open this up with Google Docs. Here's the thing, guys. I did give this to all of you, so you should have no problems whatsoever. However, if you do have problems, okay, make sure that you email me, text me, private comment me, whatever you need to do, okay, so we can get those problems resolved. One of the things you do need to make sure is that you're constantly saving this and it's being updated and saved. This shouldn't be a problem now that I gave it to you as your own document. However, just in case you do have problems, before you hit that submit button, double check to make sure everything's correct. All right. So right here, we need obviously the product name. So I'm going to put David's Tea Mug. Okay, and I'm going to put that there. And there is 5 different slots here for you guys to use. So description of use of element of design. So again, we're having both the elements of design and the principles of design here. And we have to kind of talk about how they match, okay, and create this element and principles, and they kind of go with each other. So it's kind of hard to explain without doing it myself. So again, I'm using this David's Tea Mug right here, okay? It's not like the one I got, but close enough. All right, so one of the things I'm going to say is right now there's a big contrast in color, okay? Now going back here, I'm going to go to contrast and I'm going to go to color. So right here's my color, right here's my contrast. And I'm going to talk about what it is that with the color and the contrast. So first I'm going to talk about the element. So element of color is defined here because there is gold, dark blue, and I think it was white, yeah, white colors. And then I'm going to say principles is evident here because the contrast between the gold and the dark blue really stands out against each other. I used the wrong there. All right, so that's basically what I'm looking for, guys, is explaining to me how element is defined, explaining to me how principle is defined. And that's how we're going to do this. Now, the other thing I can do for this is, okay, so not only is there color here, but the shape of this object. So my mug here, which is the same shape that I'm using, okay, it helps if the thing that you have is very physical. All right, so I'm going to actually take a copy of this image here. And this is one of the things I do want you guys to do so I know what you're actually got, as it were. I want you to simply copy and paste the image, okay? I don't care if it's below it, above it, whatever have you, how big or small it is. I just want to see it. So again, we have shape. So the shape, for me, that's an element, and I'm going to say it's balanced. Okay, so for me, again, I'm going to describe the shape. So shape of the mug is very form fitting to the hands and feels good without being restricting. All right, so that's, again, shape can take many forms, but this is just an example. And I'm going to say it's balanced because the shape and the design kind of coincide with one another. You're creating this form of like symmetry. All right. So, and if these two things go together, that's fine too. And you can definitely have them go together. Not a problem. Now, if you have something else that kind of goes with this, go for it. Put it all in there. Again, we're doing 5 of these. Okay. And I'm going to explain to you now what's required for you guys of the rubric. Get rid of some of this stuff. All right. So right here, we have a rubric for you guys. Now, the rubric's pretty straightforward. How many of the items did you actually do? All right. Obviously, if you do all 5, you get the 3 points. You do less than 5, you're in danger territory. Elements are pointed out in detail and discussed. Okay. Done for all 5 items. There's a clear explanation as to why the element was chosen for that object. There is more than 4 elements picked for the object. I didn't realize that these guys don't divide themselves. On my end, it's all divided up. So I'll go back through and put periods where they need to be. But again, you want to be in that excellent and 3-point category here. Done for all 5 items. Principles and elements are the same thing. There's a clear explanation as to why that principle was chosen for that object. There's more than 4 principles picked for the object. All right, so I could go on and on about my mug here like you wouldn't believe. Therefore, you really want to make sure that you're creating and looking at the different elements and principles and getting all of them, okay? So that's what I want you guys to do for the rubric. I'm going to just try to hit the back button there. Okay. Now, you got this. You got your bell ringer. Your vocab should already be done at this point. And that's it. That's all I really want to talk about today. All right, so make sure you're paying attention to the videos. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button, the bell icon, so you are aware of what's going on, so on and so forth. And that's it, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.